guys, I've just put the batteries into this figure here, the DX Soul of Chogokin Mechagodzilla 1974. Now, I've avoided reviews on this figure because I want to go in completely surprised. I know it's a DX figure, so I know it's going to have lights and sounds, but I don't quite know what we're going to get. I assume we're going to get some Mechagodzilla finger missile sounds, some beam sounds, stuff like that. Let's look at it. Now, I'm wearing gloves just because this is a nice, shiny, metallic figure, and I don't want to get my grease and stuff from my fingers all over it, especially because it did cost me over 400 Australian dollars. With that out of the way, let's look at it. So as you saw, the battery pack is behind the tail. Once that's plugged in, you should have access to all the lights and sounds. Now, all of the spines here on Mechagodzilla will get nice and close. All of these spines all do something different. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like 8 separate buttons that all hopefully do something different, make some unique sounds. Before we look at that, I just want to point out, if you saw the B-roll before, or maybe it plays after this video, I don't know. I have discovered this button here. This is really cool. You press that, and Mechagodzilla does his whole firing his finger missiles pose. It would have been really cool if those spun around 360, but they don't. It's just the button. I mean, I'm sure you could probably get them to do that, but again, $400 figure. I don't want to risk it. Anyway, let's look at these features, shall we? We'll start with this button right here. So what does this do? Okay. So we'll bump the camera. We'll just get Mechagodzilla's face in there. That turns on the lights. I'm going to assume that's just turned on the figure there. I'll double check, because if we press it again... Yep, the lights go out. Okay, cool. So I reckon that's the on and off button. Glad we discovered that just then. Perfect. Moving on from that, well... Let's try this button here. What does that do? Okay, so that's a sound effect for flying Mechagodzilla. Is that going to play the whole time? It sounds like it is. Okay, cool. So I assume if I press that again, that comes off. Beautiful. What does this button do? That's cool. Alright, so looking at Mechagodzilla's chest here, not only does the shield pop out, but the laser there does light up. You get the Mechagodzilla sound effect, lights and sounds. That's cool. So that's the big center button there. This button here. There you go. So there's your Mechagodzilla finger firing missiles button. So that's this top left one here. The one on the right hand side, what's that going to do? So that's the head spinning shield. Bring Mechagodzilla back again. You can see his eyes are rotating blue. So, you'll remember this from the movie, right? This is when his head's spinning around and he creates that shield. That's very cool. And much like the last one, this sounds like it's going to go on indefinitely. That leaves us with 2 more buttons. The one on the left there, that's his eye beams. You can see the eyes glowing yellow there, so that's this button right here. They all glow, they radiate through all the colors. That's awesome. Oh, and it looks like the longer you hold it. So that's a tap. When we hold it down. Oh, that's cool. Open Mechagodzilla's mouth there. That's awesome. So the longer you hold that one down, the longer that beam goes for. What about this center spine here? Oh, there you go. There's Mechagodzilla's roar. Perfect. And that means the last button... You get the classic Mechagodzilla theme. That is absolutely awesome. I'll move Mechagodzilla over closer to the mic so you guys can hear that. There you go. So you cycle through a bunch of different Mechagodzilla sounds, and you get the classic theme as well. That's absolutely awesome. Now, I'm going to take a quick look at the instruction videos, maybe look at someone else's video, and just see if there's any other cool tips and tricks and things that I'm missing with this figure. So I'll cut back to you guys, and we'll just do another quick overview once we've done that. Sounds good. So I didn't discover any new information, but that means we can just have fun with Mechagodzilla here. Now, because a couple of those lights and sounds features do stay on indefinitely, I reckon we can get Mechagodzilla into a pretty convincing, going all out, firing on all cylinders, sort of pose, look, whatever you call it. Let's do that right now, shall we? Sounds good. So, let's activate Mechagodzilla's theme. He can't fight without his theme, can he? Perfect. And then with that, let's get Mechagodzilla firing on all cylinders. Perfect, just like that, guys. Let's get him converted into flight mode, and then we'll take a look at that as well. And here we have Mechagodzilla's flight mode. This is really easy to achieve. All you gotta do is put on that spare tail, put on Mechagodzilla's alternate head, bend the legs as per the instructions, and do the same with the arm by rotating those out so the thumb is facing outwards. That is the hardest part because this part here is just a little tight. But once that's done, Mechagodzilla's in his flight mode. It's pretty convincing. No stand or anything, so you're sort of left just holding this heavy brick. But with that, the eyes are translucent, so if we turn Mechagodzilla back on, there we go. You can still achieve some cool effects. So you can have Mechagodzilla firing his beam still, you can still have the theme playing, and most importantly, this last button gives him that flight sound. So we'll turn off the music, and there you go. There's Mechagodzilla flying around. You know, flying around towards Godzilla, firing at him, doing all that sort of stuff, so on and so forth. So the flight mode's pretty cool. Obviously, I won't be displaying Mechagodzilla like this, but it is neat that it was included anyway. Let's do some final thoughts. Final thoughts, guys. This thing is absolutely incredible. The details are outstanding. The lights and the sounds for the gimmicks are absolutely incredible. Mechagodzilla here is a nice, hefty figure. He's well detailed. Surprisingly, actually has a decent amount of articulation. The painted details are also really nice. I mean, just look at this bronze shading across some of the rivets there. Same with that light blue. Everything about this figure is absolutely incredible. And I'm not just saying that as a huge Mechagodzilla fan. I think this thing is insane. It's awesome. I love it. And I highly recommend you pick one up for yourselves if you can. And that's if you can swallow that big price point. Let's move on to some size comparisons. Wrapping things up with the size comparison, guys, you can see just how massive this figure is. On the left, you have the SH Monster Arts Mechagodzilla 1974. In the middle is our DX Mechagodzilla 1974. And on the right there is the Soul of Chogokin Kiryu. That's all I've got for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw, maybe consider subscribing. Leave me a comment down below. And until next time, I've been daikaijuDU, and I'll catch you all later.